And we got an exciting time that we're going to talk about. Even still in the midst of the NBA playoffs. Might see LeBron leave in the first round for the first time in a long time. That might hurt. Westbrook, he's no longer giving us his wonderful basketball. We'll talk about that and maybe their future. And also, we're going to talk about a little football. 4 quarterbacks went before Lamar Jackson. Interesting. And out of those 4, 3 of them had some interesting off-field situations, but yet they still went. Makes you wonder. Boxing, we have, Bronner took that tie. That was on him, but we'll talk about why it's important to beat your opponent and not leave it up to the judges. So we'll start off with the playoffs. Raptors finally beat the Wizards. And I say finally because a team that was in disarray like the Wizards, they don't know who's going to be their lead. They don't know who wants to step up between Bradley Beal and John Wall. You should have crushed them, but it took you 6. It's nothing wrong with that. You did it in 6. Does that mean you're still a championship team? I'm still out on that one, but I'm proud of y'all for what y'all have accomplished because at the end of the day, that's important. You're in the second round. Now we have another situation where LeBron James is fighting for his playoff life. It's been a while since we've seen that happen. We're so used to him being in the finals, literally 8 years in the finals. That's a long stretch of time. You have Hall of Famers right now that only been to the finals once, if any. So for him to have been to the finals 8 times and won 3, that's amazing. That streak may end in these playoffs. So we'll talk about how the importance of team. Because, last year he had Kyrie Irving. A lot of people could take their digs at Kyrie for this and third, but the importance of having a person you can trust. Think about it. Kyrie took the load off of him. Kyrie could score. He was a leader in the locker room. And now all of a sudden you don't have that. You have to be everything. And it shows. It's wearing on you. And now you appreciate your people better. I'm not a LeBron hater. I'm not really a LeBron fan. But I believe right now he really do appreciate and miss those times with those players like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, even, Kyrie Irving. So seeing him now fighting for his playoff life, I have a lot more respect for him because he's taking a team that really right now doesn't know who they are outside of LeBron James. And that could be because we don't know who he's going to be in the summer. We don't know where he's going to be. We don't know what's going to happen to him. And that could leave some disarray in your franchise. And we're seeing that now that maybe the other players are not really playing as hard or really giving their all because at the end of the day, LeBron James may leave. That may hurt them. So it's important for consistency and to have that bond with your players because in the crunch time, when you're in that dogfight, as they say in the foxhole, you want to make sure that the brother to the left, to the right of you is willing to, go the extra mile. And right now, I think LeBron James doesn't have that. One person who does have that is Anthony Davis. It's amazing to see what Anthony Davis is doing right now. I mean, we knew he was a freak of nature, and that is no dig on him. I mean, he's 7 foot and he can handle the ball like a point guard. He got great floor vision. He could go down there, he could rebound, he plays defense. I mean, he is a team within one man. And now, unfortunately without DeMarcus Cousins, we're seeing a team that looks like they're better. I don't think they're better, but the ball moves fluently more because you have 2 good point guards. One point guard in particular in Holiday who loves to score. And that's not a bad thing when you have a big man that can pass and score. And you have another point guard in Rondo. Don't give up on Rondo. He is a champion. He does have the experience. Now, all of a sudden, you're seeing the benefits of having that experience with Rondo. Now you're seeing a team that's more of a complete team, and now they're in the second round going against the Warriors, which is going to be interesting because can you really defend Anthony Davis? No. I'm sorry. You can't. He's just too big. He's just too magnificent. He's literally a bigger version of LeBron James, if you can say that. And, unfortunately, now we have to look at where Westbrook is going to be. I'm not a Westbrook fan, but I do respect him. A comparison was to Allen Iverson, and I see that, and I can see why they could say he's Allen Iverson. But he has had help, and I cannot deny that. And, after, sitting down there and looking at it, Westbrook had the most help in his career than probably any other player coming into the league. I mean, from Kevin Durant, James Harden, to now having Carmelo Anthony and to having Paul George. I mean, he's been surrounded by all-stars. That's amazing. He's been surrounded by people, even to Kevin Durant, now as a champion. So now we have to look at Westbrook and say, what are you? So the team's going, the Thunder has a really good situation coming up because Paul George, just like LeBron James, is a free agent and he's not talking. Just like LeBron James. Could that mean that those two may come together and go to a team? I'm not going to say that. Conspiracy theories will have you thinking that. But it could happen. I mean, a long time ago, we wouldn't have thought that we would have seen D-Wade, LeBron James, and Chris Ross come together. So anything's possible. But it's to say a lot about a team when you know that one of your players may not be there next year. And I think that's what felt on the Thunder is we have Paul George right now. He is playing. I mean, he put up phenomenal numbers for them, but consistency, having the know-how that you will be here, and that says a lot to the other players. You know, it's like being in a relationship. You know, when you have a person that's in a relationship and their foot is out the door, that's not a relationship. You know, they're wishy-washy. You don't want to be around that. And that is the same in sports. And you're seeing that. The Thunder is a prime example of that, just like Cleveland right now. Their stars are wishy-washy. They haven't committed. So now you have a situation, Paul George hadn't committed. Where does that leave the Thunder? Well, right now you have Carmelo under contract for one more year. You still have Westbrook. I think you should focus on Westbrook. I think it may be time to start building a team to mirror Westbrook's strength. You know he's ball dominant. Why not build guards around him, big men that can shoot? Give him shooters. That way, he likes to pass too. He averaged a triple-double the last past 2 years, so it's not like he's selfish to that extent. He's going to take more shots. Get why I say that. Philadelphia did an amazing thing with Allen Iverson, which is crazy, by the way, is they put a team together that was merely made up of role players and let Allen Iverson take that team to the finals. Did they win? No. Could it happen again? In this NBA, we don't know, but the great part about it is it's worth a try. Why not? I mean, we're seeing crazier things happen. Look at the Jazz. No all-stars, but a phenomenal rookie, true rookie. Let's talk about that. Ben Simmons is not a rookie. Ben Simmons is what you would call a second-year freshman. What's a second-year freshman? A freshman that failed the first time, so they're still a freshman going into their second year of high school. He has all the answers to the test. Why is he we're considering him a rookie? He had the answers to the test. He traveled with the team. He got a paycheck. He practiced at the team facilities. He did everything an NBA player did his rookie season except play past 5 games. He's not a rookie. So why keep him in the conversation? Because it sounds good. They need to get rid of that rule. A rookie is a first-year player, period. Not a first-year player that plays. That's wrong. Because now you have a player which we're seeing his greatness, and we're going to diminish it by a second-year player that we want to give the title because we want him to have it. No, Mitchell deserves to be Rookie of the Year and should be Rookie of the Year. He's phenomenal. I mean, he took a Jazz team, which, by the way, we all thought would be dead in the water, especially after some of the trades they made. Hayward, gone. Then they get rid of Rodney Hood. Then all of a sudden you start seeing, wait a second, they're a team. They're actually a definition of a team. Team basketball, they share the ball and they let Mitchell be Mitchell. Now, will he produce that next year? I'm waiting to see because I can only see him going up. Yes, he reached a plateau that most rookies don't, but I think he can do it. And I'd like to see what the Jazz can do in the second round because they did beat a team with a 3-headed monster. Despite what anybody think, the Thunder had a 3-headed monster. Excuse me, they're no longer in the playoffs because of the Jazz. So I'm waiting to see that. Rockets, we knew. We knew what the Rockets would do. They didn't even know if there's a buzz about it. They didn't even need to talk about that. We're waiting to see what the Rockets could do in the Western Conference Finals. Now, who they meet will be interesting, but we're waiting to see what they could do in the Western Conference Finals. So that would be interesting. Philly. I know I have a Philly fan, and Philly, I have to admit, y'all have surprised me. Not to the extent where I didn't think y'all make the playoffs, but y'all surprised me because I actually thought Miami was a better matchup. I thought Miami could win because y'all mirrored each other so much. And so when y'all beat Miami, by the way, great series. Y'all beat them hands down. Y'all really beat them. I want y'all to appreciate one person. And it's not Ben Simmons. It's not Embiid. It's the one person that y'all signed and that y'all said, why are we giving that much money to? And that's J.J. Redick. Because J.J. Redick has been the actual force behind y'all wins. Yes, Embiid, great. Yes, Ben Simmons, great. I can't even deny. And I think it's a stat out there that he's not even taking threes. Like, he's doing everything under the three-point line. That's amazing to me. He's not even taking threes, which lets you know he knows who he is. And there's nothing wrong with knowing who you are. Think about with Westbrook. When you know who you are, you build around what you have. So, seeing how Philly was built, signing J.J. Redick was the smartest thing. Now people are like, wow, J.J. Redick, I think he's averaging like 18 points. Some of the games he's been averaging 26. Think about that. People was like, man, we gave him, what, 19 million for 1 year? But now you're like, I see why we gave him. The process is complete with J.J. Redick. J.J. Redick gives y'all that outside shooter who's not afraid. A lot of people didn't realize this. He was with the Clippers. He played in the Western Conference. He played in Western Conference Finals one time. He really knows what it means to be in these dogfights. Having him on a team with basically nothing but rookies to anything let you know that, hey, he's bringing something that they needed, which was that stability. And I love that. And that's what makes Philly incredible to me, is the fact that they have J.J. Redick who can score. Defense, you know, he's working on that. I mean, he's not that big, but offensively, he's the one that's been helping y'all alongside Ben Simmons. And Embiid was, by the way, I told y'all, he's not on the floor as much. Consistency. He wants to be on the floor more, but they realize he's still fragile. Boston. By the way, Boston's playing with house money. That's fact. Both stars are done. One star was done before the year started. The other star, near the end of the year, actually said, you know what, my knee hurts, I'm going to take the rest of the year off. Boston could have folded right then and there, but no, they didn't. And that's what shows me a lot about Boston. It's the fact that they're not just Kyrie Irving. They're not just Gordon Hayward. They're a team. Jaylen Brown is a monster. And Jaylen Brown has really shown up. Tatum, he's a force to be reckoned with. I'm telling you, Tatum, Olford, he's saying, you know, I'm still here. You know what? I was their big signing before. You know, I'm still here to play. And Marcus Smart. For the first time in my life, I can actually say he is smart. He's actually a smart guard. And he knows who he is, and he has accepted who he is. And I think early on in his career, he had issues with that because he got drafted a little high. So now he's like, I know who I am. So now Boston is a complete team. Without their stars, if they win this series, it's nothing but money for them. If they don't win the series, still nothing but money because they took them to 7. Once again, you're playing a team that does not have their stars, and they're taking you to 7 games. You should beat those teams. Boston makes it, which I think they will. I still think Cleveland will. I still believe in Cleveland. I believe LeBron James knows his legacy, and I believe LeBron James understands that there's more riding on this. And that's what, you know, we want to talk about. The importance of recognizing people in their greatness. I think in times in life, especially in sports, we don't really recognize people in their greatness. You got Jordan, and you forget about Kobe. And then you have LeBron. And then you want to forget about LeBron because you have Ben Simmons, Anthony Davis. And it's like, let's appreciate these people where they're at. You know, Kobe had it. Kobe did everything, but people really don't talk about Kobe. They're like, they dismiss Kobe unless you're a Lakers fan or a diehard Kobe fan. Other than that, you don't even really put Kobe in the mix. You didn't recognize him in his greatness. He's a 5-time champion. He's been to the finals 7 times. That's not easy. LeBron James is 3-time champion. He's been there 8. That's not easy. We need to stop pretending because we allow the media to tell us that, oh, the Eastern Conference is easy, so she should be able to go there every year. Just because it may be not as star-studded as the West doesn't mean it's any easier to make it there, especially 8 years. It's a lot of basketball on anybody. And to look at LeBron James and to say that you played this amount of basketball in 8 years, I think he's been in the league about 13, so 8 years you've been in the finals. You've been playing through the summer. You have played on the Olympic team. You played so much basketball, and yet you're still showing us your greatness at age, what, 33 now, if I'm not mistaken? That's amazing. He's still putting up numbers that he put up 3, 4, 5 years ago. And we're not recognizing his greatness because we want to always pick at his flaws. We did the same thing to Kobe. We can't keep doing that. You'll miss out on people's greatness when you do that. You know, when you see a person, you see what they have is special, enjoy the specialness of it. Enjoy what you're seeing from LeBron James. Enjoy that he had 44 in this series. Enjoy that. Because soon he's not going to always be around. Michael Jordan, we love Michael Jordan. The past is the past. But we done had several stars that have taken the game to the next level, and we haven't given them the just due. And I think it's time that we start giving these, especially in the NBA, giving these players their just due. Recognize them in the moment. Recognize them for what they have done, what they have accomplished. Rather, if you don't like them, okay, there are things I don't like about LeBron James, but you can't deny what he has done. There's things I didn't like about Kobe, but you can't deny what Kobe has done. You can't deny that. You can't take away what they have won. Remember this. Charles Barkley talk a lot, but he can't talk that rain talk. Karl Malone talks a lot, but Karl Malone can't talk that rain talk. Kobe could talk the rain talk. LeBron could talk that rain talk. And those two will end up in the Hall of Fame. We know that. So enjoy them and recognize them for their greatness and recognize them in the moment. You know, you got to look at the videos on Kobe, but now you have LeBron James. And LeBron James may be playing well, but he's getting older. You know, a lot of us didn't get to appreciate Shaquille O'Neal because a lot of y'all got introduced to him older. If you saw him in the 90s, you'd be like, wow, he arguably could be the best center. But you don't appreciate him. And it's time for us to start appreciating these athletes for what they are in their moment. Because their moment is only a window. And that window is steadily closing every chance to get. Now, 4 quarterbacks taken in the first round. Top 10. That's awesome. The 5th one is who I like the most out of them. One of them, well, 2 of them, the number one, I'm not going to mention their name for, you know, just don't want to mention the name. The number 1 overall pick, you know, he had off the field issues. Interesting. Kind of interesting, you know, you'll overlook those off the field issues. He had them. The number 10 pick actually told us that 9 other picks were a mistake. He may have cleared it up and said 3. He was talking about quarterbacks. But, you know, we know what he means. 9 other were mistakes. So he's arrogant. 1 quarterback in his youth, as we like to justify in America, he said some tweets. I don't know him. I don't want to know him because I just don't. It's his life. He does what he wants. Just because everybody doing it doesn't make it right. And we need to stop letting people get away with stuff. He said these things. It's not like he admitted to them and was like, hey, you know what? I did wrong. No, they came out and now he's catching up. But what's important now, I want y'all to realize is Philadelphia did that with a certain receiver. I'm not going to say his name, who said some things at a concert. They gave him a new contract. You know, a certain lineman, you know, were going around bullying people, especially if they didn't look like him, but it was all in good sport. How he get rewarded? He got to retire. He got to play longer. Teams still brought him in because of his toughness, tenacity. But you have a quarterback, which I'm not going to mention, one of my favorite quarterbacks, who teams will not even look at because they claim that doing something for justice is far more detrimental than actually saying hateful things. It's easy to forgive people when they look like you because you understand that. And in sports, that's what you see. It may not be a racial tone to it, but I understand that. It's easier for a GM to look at a young quarterback and to say, I understand that you made that mistake, young man, because I myself may have said those things. But let me pull you in and give you a little secret. Don't say them in public. Not to say it, because I'm not going to tell you what not to say, but don't say it in public. Don't say it to everybody. You know, those may be your true feelings. Just because they say it in a song don't make it right. A lot of songs say some hateful things. That don't mean you got to go out there and tweet it. I mean, everybody jumping off the bridge, you're going to jump off a bridge. I mean, that's how I look at this person right now, because that's the the tone you gave me was, hey. But more importantly, I want you to look at how they're treating that like in his youth, and that's how they treat mass shootings. They treat it the same way as if, you know what, you know, he had issues and things like that. Treat it for what it is. And we need to start doing that. We need to start treating things for what they are. Even a mass shooting, this is what you are in a mass shooting. You are what you did. He said those things. You are who you are in that moment. You may be apologetic now because it came out. You didn't. I understand why you're apologetic. It came out. It is what it is. I'm gonna apologize. If a person get caught cheating, guess what the first thing they do? They apologize because it's out now. But while they're in the midst of it, are they apologizing? No. So in the midst of anything a person does as bad, as long as they don't get caught, it's not really, they don't care. It's not hurting. But the fifth quarterback is the one quarterback that I love the most out of this draft. And not because he looks like me, but because I think he has the most upside potential. But it's funny, the team that drafted him was the same team that was looking at another quarterback that was similar. So I'm not mad at that. Obviously, you got the quarterback that you know you want to transition to, which is awesome, by the way. I think this quarterback will fit y'all system better because y'all are a team that are built mostly on a hard running game, great offensive line, and of course your quarterback is getting a little older, long in the tooth, as they say. So I think this transition would do great. But it's amazing to me that this one particular quarterback that got picked, the last pick in the first round, was also the quarterback that they said don't be a quarterback. Not because he didn't put up numbers. Let's not even look at the numbers, but let's look at it like this. He produced 2 to 3 great seasons when he came into the ACC. 2-year ACC Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, he won the Heisman. He can throw the ball. We seen him throw the ball. We seen him throw the ball in big games. We in ACC country know who he is. So him transitioning into the NFL makes sense. Russell Wilson, same player. I mean, they similar except he's bigger. I think he's a better version of Michael Vick. I think he can really do a lot if he gets the right coach in the right system, which is very important. Right coach in the right system. We got to realize these are systems. You know, the joke is, you know, the 49ers just signed another quarterback from the Patriots system, and he may fail. But that lets me know that Tom Brady is really not that great, because if it's a system, then it's not a great system. It's a great system, but he's not a great player. So it's the same thing to me. I think once Lamar Jackson gets a good to great coach under him, gets a good offensive-minded coach that wants to exploit his potential, I think he will be great. And I think his upside is for the best. I feel sorry for the number 1 pick. Browns got a graveyard of quarterbacks that may hurt them. And to finish it up, Adrian Bronner. Another thing we need to talk about is mental health. And, you know, a lot of athletes are starting to talk about mental health because he's a person that I feel as though may have suffered from it. You know, before the fight, in the last couple of months, you know, he went from having suicidal thoughts to going out here picking fights with people. He's been, you know, a little off the wall. And I think, you know, we look at it as, oh, he's a boxer. But we need to look at it for who he is. I mean, he's a man that's been crying out for help. I'm happy that he got back in the ring because I think that's where he finds his peace. Unfortunately, he found out that, you know, those little tactics and antics that he was doing kind of hurt him because he won that fight. You can debate what you want, but when you look at the other fighter, you realize that other fighter been in the fight. Bronner didn't look like he'd been in the fight. He was sweating, but he didn't look like he'd been in the fight. And, you know, you never want to leave nothing up to the judges, because when you have a reputation, I think that played a part with the judge. And I think that's why 2 judges went against him, which ultimately said it was a draw. And I think that hurt his chances moving forward as far as to get back into a championship bout, because I think he's going to end up having to fight Vargas again. And I do believe that. And I think it's fair because they had a draw. So you want to fight again to, you know, close out that draw. But I think he was the better fighter and he won that fight. But hopefully this was a lesson to him to understand that, you know, he needs to go back to his craft. And maybe we'll start appreciating people in their moment also, because he's a great fighter. He's not Mayweather. We know he's not Tyson. He's not even Sugar Ray, but he's a great fighter in his moment. And that's what we need to look at, recognize him for his greatness in his moment. And I hope he gets the help that he needs as far as for off the field stuff, because he's done a lot and said a lot. This has been an amazing topic show, and I do appreciate y'all for joining us. We're going to start closing it down. And, in the close down, we'll talk about, sports athletes, entertainers. They're not your moral compass. They're not who you should look at to follow in the sense of political parties or where they stand. They have influence because we see them in that light, but they're not. The people you should look at are the ones that are doing it in your community, the ones that are actually there building and trying to make it better for you. A lot of these entertainers and athletes are disconnected, so they're going to go and say things that are against the norm. And if you don't believe me, always remember this. One anchor said a certain NBA player should just shut up and dribble the ball because it went against her political belief, but she allowed one entertainer to say what he said because it went with her belief. That's called bias. We need to stop allowing these people who have their personal agenda and their biases infiltrate us and make us move to the left and move to the right. We have a responsibility to guard ourselves. These athletes are athletes. They're human. They're just like you. They have feelings. They have things that they want to do. So let's look at athletes for who they are. They're athletes. Entertainers for who they are. They're entertainers. They're doing a job. They're doing a service. You pay them. Remember that. You pay them. You don't like what they say? Take your money back. Trust me. You hurt their pockets? Then maybe they'll change their tune. So I'd like to leave y'all with that. Thank you. William Coleman will be back next week. We will be doing a joint show. It's going to be amazing because two guys, hopefully LeBron James won't let me down because I already got to hear it about the Raptors, so I definitely don't want to hear it about LeBron. But we'll be joined with two other guests, and it's actually going to be a long show. So we're going to start with their show, and we're going to finish with our show. So you get an hour of us probably going to blows, but it's all in good fun and health. I'm Myshawn Taylor. On behalf of William Coleman, we want to thank you for joining us on Sports Talk to Expose You Family and all the other great hosts that have shows on here. Please check them out. They got a lot of knowledge and information to give you. Thank you.